Subscribe to this channel and like it, thank you. Closing parenthesis. He was half asleep when the soft knocks echoed through the hallway, each one trembling as if the person on the other side was fighting the urge to run away. When he opened the door, he froze. She stood there under the dim porch light, wrapped in nothing but a tearful smile and the oversized sweater she always borrowed from him during late-night study sessions years ago. Her breath shivered in the cold air, her fingers clenched around the fabric, eyes silently begging him to let her in before everything she was holding inside spilled onto the doorstep. He stepped aside without a word. The moment she entered, she leaned against the wall as though her legs could no longer carry the weight of the night she had endured. He gently closed the door, afraid even the click of the lock might shatter her composure. She tried to speak, but her voice cracked, dissolving into a shaky breath. He didn't push. He simply stood near her, offering the quiet presence she had always trusted. Her tears glistened as they slid down her cheeks, and for the first time, she whispered his name like a plea. He guided her to the couch, moving slowly, giving her space to gather herself. She clutched his sleeve, refusing to let go, as though he was the only steady thing left in her world. When she finally managed to speak, it was barely a whisper, a confession wrapped in heartbreak. She said she had walked out of a place that never felt like home, leaving behind the noise, the pressure, the voices that drowned her own thoughts. She came because she remembered he always told her, "My door is open, no matter what." Her hands shook as she described the moment she finally snapped, the moment she realized she was tired of pretending, tired of smiling when every smile felt like a lie. He listened without interrupting, letting her release every word she had held back. The room felt heavy, not with sadness, but with truth finally spoken. She looked up at him with eyes that were both defeated and hopeful, as though she was terrified of the future but relieved that she didn't have to face it alone. He brought her a glass of water, watched her wrap both hands around it as if the warmth alone could keep her steady. She took small sips, breathing slowly as the shaking eased. He sat across from her, not too close, giving her control of the moment. When he asked what made her come at midnight, she smiled faintly, that same tearful smile that had startled him at the door, and she said she knew he was the only person who wouldn't turn her away, not tonight, not ever. She told him she had walked for nearly an hour, barefoot at first before realizing she still had his old sweater in her closet. She wore it because it made her feel safe, because it reminded her of the few times in her life when she felt understood. He felt something twist inside him, a mix of worry, protectiveness, and the aching realization that she had been carrying all this alone. He reached out slowly, offering his hand, waiting for her to choose whether to take it. Her fingers slid into his, trembling but determined. Her grip tightened as she confessed the loneliness that had followed her for months, the silence that screamed louder than any argument. She said she didn't want to burden him, didn't want to appear weak, but tonight the wall she built finally cracked. He told her there was nothing weak about seeking peace, nothing wrong with knocking on a door that had always been hers to open. For the first time, she let out a breath that sounded almost like relief. He draped a blanket over her shoulders, watching her curl into it like someone who hadn't felt warmth in a long time. She closed her eyes, letting the exhaustion settle. He made her tea, set it beside her, and returned quietly, as if any sudden movement might disturb the fragile calm she had found. When she reopened her eyes, she looked at him with an unspoken gratitude so deep it didn't need words. She said his name again, but this time not as a plea, as a thank you. Her voice steadied as she began sharing the moments that broke her, the arguments, the expectations, the suffocating pressure to be someone she wasn't. Each sentence felt like another chain falling off. He listened, holding the space for her pain, never judging, never rushing her. When she paused, he simply nodded, letting her know he was still there, still listening. The clock ticked softly in the background, marking the slow unraveling of a burden she had carried far too long. She leaned back against the couch, her breathing calmer now. She admitted she didn't know what she expected tonight, only that she needed someone who wouldn't tell her to calm down, or be strong. She needed a place where she could break without being blamed for it. He told her she didn't owe him explanations, what mattered was that she was safe now. Her eyes welled up again, not from fear this time, but from the unfamiliar comfort of being understood. He offered her one of his shirts and soft pajama pants, guiding her to the bathroom so she could change. When she returned, swallowed in fabric far too big for her, she looked lighter, as though the simple comfort of clean clothes had taken some of the night's heaviness away. She sat beside him, closer than before, shoulder brushing his. He didn't move away. She didn't either. They stayed like that for a long moment, breathing in sync, as if finding steadiness in each other's presence. She asked him if he ever felt lost, ever felt like the world kept moving while he struggled to keep up. He admitted he had, many times. His honesty surprised her. She had always seen him as the strong one, the calm one. Hearing that he too had stumbled made her feel less alone. She rested her head on his shoulder, and he let her, sensing she needed the closeness more than anything. As the night deepened, she began to smile, a small, real smile, not the tearful one from earlier. She said she didn't come to be rescued, she came because she remembered he always made her feel seen. He looked down at her, realizing that despite the years, despite the silence between them, she still trusted him with the parts of herself she hid from the world. That trust humbled him. She drifted halfway toward sleep, murmuring apologies she didn't need to make. He told her she was safe, that she could rest, that tomorrow didn't have to be frightening. For the first time in months, she let her guard down completely. He watched as the tension left her face, replaced by a peace she had forgotten how to feel. He pulled the blanket higher around her shoulders and promised silently to be there in the morning. When she finally fell asleep, he stayed by her side, not wanting her to wake alone. The soft glow of the lamp cast warm light over her resting form, making her look almost weightless. He thought about the courage it took for her to knock on his door at midnight, wrapped in nothing but a desperate need for safety and a tearful smile. And as he sat there, keeping watch over her, he realized that her arrival tonight wasn't just an escape, it was the beginning of her healing. Please tell me how you liked the story in the comments. Thank you.